Hey everybody, you're looking live on tape from another gorgeous day here in Central Florida. Today I'm coming to you to episode 2 of the Food and Wine Spectacular 2022 Food and Wine Festival, episode number 2 from Disney's Food and Wine. Today we're going to try a couple more offerings from Food and Wine Festival. It is hot, it is busy, it is everything that Food and Wine Festival is known for. I predict I will be eating on a trash can at some point, just judging by the crowd levels and the dearth of high top tables that were present during COVID. There were a few things that I do miss about those times. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you did. Let's get to it. So I had really good parking when I got here today, and that always makes me happy. I was like 2 rows off the split. If you come to Epcot quite a bit, you'll know exactly where I'm talking about, Create 40. But in the parks, it's very busy. I was just over by Test Track. It was 85 minutes, which pretty tall. It is early in the day when I walk through Spaceship Earth. Here's a really good pros tip for you. If you come to Epcot, I highly recommend you ride Spaceship Earth. However, save it. Save it for later in the day, because it was 40 minutes right about 11 o'clock this morning for Spaceship Earth. And if you go back around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or later, it's going to be a walk-on. I think the allure is because it is the first attraction you see right when you walk in the main entrance to Epcot, and you're all juiced up, excited, you want to get on an attraction. Just wait a little bit, because as much as I do love Spaceship Earth, I won't wait more than a 5-10 minutes for it, just because I always know in the back of my mind, if I just give it some time, it'll drop down. Now there are some booths on the other side of World Showcase Lagoon. A couple were open and a couple weren't. The mac and cheese booth wasn't open, the Hawaii booth wasn't open, but the Flavors from Fire was open, and there was something that I wanted to actually try from that, but I decided to wait a little bit, head over into World Showcase proper, and see if anything catches my eye over there. I'm sorry that I might be making you dizzy with my gimbal work. I'm still learning this guy, still pretty new. Pretty good overview of France, which
Show me where you are.
France has kind of turned into a really busy neck of the woods with Ratatouille opening up. It always was very popular, but even more so now that that attraction's open. Now, if you watched episode 1, you'll remember there is a fromage montage, a bunch of cheese-centric. That should be louder. But anyway, it's a bunch of cheese-centric dishes. It's kind of the passport deal. You get them all knocked off, and you get a completer prize, which Michelle and I, that's kind of our thing. We'll leave that for us. One of our first booths is over here, Brazil. Not one of my favorites, but one of my favorites is right up here. And that's Belgium. I think it's consistently one of the best booths here for food and wine. They have a couple Belgian waffle selection, but the real star of the show to me is the, get up here, kind of show you. It's that beer braised beef, $5.75, smoked with Gouda mashed potatoes. I think I'm in for that. Let's go get that dish because it was so tasty last year. All right, here is what we're working with. The beer braised beef from Belgium with Gouda cheese smoked mashed potatoes, smoked Gouda cheese mashed potatoes. Looks like some carrots, some chivies. That's chives for you normal folks on top. Of course, to wash it down, we got a cold brew Blutarski. That's a Harp Ale from England, which I grabbed on my walk over here. This was one of my absolute favorite dishes from last year. So let's get into this and I'll tell you what we think. And believe it or not, I actually did find a table or a high top, which is gold at the Food and Wine. I'm not eating on a trash can, but be patient, I will later. First, I'm gonna try the mash. So good. It's that tanginess of the Gouda with the richness of that gravy, that sauce. That would make any mom or grandmom proud. I mean, that is just unctuous. Next off, we're going to go with the actual beer braised beef itself. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the Belgian booth, bringing the flavor, it's not super hot. My only knock on this whole dish would be that the temp wise, but that's pretty common in all these food festivals. However, the Gouda makes it. The sharp or the tanginess of the Gouda cheese with the mashed potatoes, perfectly done homemade mashed potatoes, and that beef is so tender. The beer braised beef. I'm not sure if this won dish of the year last year. However, I will say this is an 8.6. It's just so good. It's for $5.75 now. $5.75. It is such a great value. To me, it's better than the filet at La Cellier. It is such a great value, and the quality and the portion size is amazing for $5.75. 8.6. Belgium, first place. So good. I'm going to finish this up off camera because I'm going to destroy it. We'll kind of do a little recap and maybe hit another booth. Final thoughts on Belgium, or at least that dish from Belgium. Run, don't walk. It's that good. For $5.75. The amount of food was awesome. My two knocks was the temperature. It's never hot enough for me. I love piping hot food. It is not exactly July. It's not going to be light and airy. It's very heavy. Sorry, I lost it. AirPod down. It's not going to be light. It's very heavy. Stick to your ribs type fare, but that's okay, especially if you're on vacation. So good. Best of the fest. I've only had 2 items this year, but by far best of the fest. But after all of that heavy comfort food, I do need something sweet. And I'm scared because a lot of times the desserts here at Food and Wine don't live up to expectations. But I think I'm going to be able to find something. I did do the apple tart last year in Germany. We'll try something else this year. See if we can't get that beat, but on for another snack. All right, our next tasty treat comes from Hops and Barley, right beside the American Pavilion, connected with a breezeway to Art of Disney here at Epcot. And what I decided to go with is the homemade carrot, or the house-made carrot cake with cream cheese icing. I've heard really good things about this. Like I said, I haven't had much luck with, as my napkin gets enveloped into the frosting, I haven't had much luck with desserts here at the Food and Wine, but again, I've heard really good things about this. We'll get into this. We'll let you know what we think. And right on cue, the sun has started to be obscured by clouds, and I'm not mad. So I'm cutting a piece of this cake here. It's like a cupcake, basically, covered in this icing. That'll give you a good cross section as I'm dripping frosting everywhere. Here we go. The house-made carrot cake with cream cheese icing from Hops and Barley here at American Pavilion. Okay. Pretty darn good. The cake itself is warm. The cream cheese icing is warm. The texture of the cake itself, it's a little firm, but it's not off-putting. It is pretty darn good. And this was $4.75 as well. So again, another good value. It's basically a full-size cupcake. And then once you order it, they take the drizzle of the cream cheese. Now, I love carrot cake. If you don't like carrot cake, do not get this. I enjoy carrot cake, so this one is pretty darn good. I'm going to give this a 7.2. Probably the best dessert I've had at Food and Wine Festival. Again, I've had some pretty bad luck with those in the past few years. This is very, very good, especially for the money. Another good value item. I mean, if you stopped at Belgium and got the beer braised beef, popped over to America and got the carrot cake, I feel like you'd be pretty happy with all of that. And total price would be like $11. Way better than chicken tenders and fries. Way better than a crappy flatbread. These two items in particular, very, very good. I'm excited. Excited to try some more items here. I'm not going to do any more sampling today. I'm going to finish this cupcake, or this carrot cake, give you my final thoughts, do a wrap up. Let's do that. You're not going to believe me, and that's fine. Just ran into two of my favorite vloggers, Adam the Woo and Tim Tracker, hanging out over here at Epcot. And I didn't fanboy that bad, but just didn't feel right to ask him to do anything. Like, hey, you want to do my outro? Yeah, I'm sure they're busy. But pretty cool. That is the second time I've seen Tim, but that's the first time I've seen Adam the Woo out and about. If you're not familiar, I highly recommend his channel, Adam the Woo, The Daily Woo. Very, very good. just kind of cool. Kind of puts cherry on this day as I'm heading out of the park. Really strong food today. Belgium. Got it. You got to hit Belgium. If you hit one booth, hit Belgium. That's probably my best advice. If you liked what you saw today, make sure you subscribe. And if you hated what you saw today, blame the fact that I didn't pull the trigger and ask Adam and Tim to at least get a selfie. Got scared, man. It's like when I met Vader. That being said, keep the parks clean.